You've got to understand something at a deeper level. Most people are not losing because life is too hard. They're losing because they are obsessed with the problem instead of committed to the solution. And I need you to hear me clearly. Whatever you focus on expands. If you wake up every single day thinking about what went wrong, who hurt you, what you don't have, and why things aren't working, you are literally training your mind to stay stuck. You are conditioning yourself to live in defeat. But the moment you shift your focus, even just a little, from the problem to the solution, everything begins to change. Now you're no longer reacting to life, you're responding with purpose. Now you're not just surviving, you're strategizing. See, problems are emotional, they drain you, they frustrate you, they make you feel powerless. But solutions are logical. Solutions require clarity. Solutions demand effort. And that's why so many people avoid them, because solutions force you to step up, to take responsibility, to do the work even when you don't feel like it. You can't sit there waiting for motivation to come save you. Motivation is not your savior, discipline is. Action is, the grind is. You've got to make a decision that no matter how big the problem looks, you will not give it more attention than the solution. Because the truth is, problems don't go away just because you complain about them. They don't shrink because you talk about them with everybody around you. If anything, they get bigger, heavier, more overwhelming. But solutions grow stronger the more you invest in them. Every step you take, every idea you test, every failure you learn from, that's you building your way out. That's you creating a path where there was none before. And listen, it's not going to be easy. Nobody said it would be. Focusing on solutions means you have to silence the noise, you have to ignore the excuses, you have to push past the fear, the doubt, and the discomfort. But that's the price of growth. That's the cost of becoming somebody who doesn't just talk about change, but actually lives it. So the next time you catch yourself complaining, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what am I doing to fix this? And not why is this happening? But what is my next move? Because that question shifts your power. That question puts you back in control, and control is everything. You might not be able to control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. You can always control where you put your energy. And if you keep putting your energy into solutions day after day, step after step, you will find a way. It might not be the way you expected. It might not be the easiest route, but it will be a way forward. And that's all you need, one solution, one breakthrough, one moment where everything starts to turn. But it only happens if you stop feeding the problem and start fueling the solution. Let me tell you something real. Solutions don't care about your feelings. They respond to your actions. You can sit there all day overwhelmed, frustrated, angry at the situation you're in, but none of that moves you forward. Emotions might be valid, but they are not vehicles for progress. Action is, and that's where most people fall short. They get stuck in how they feel instead of focusing on what they need to do. See, when you're problem-focused, you hesitate, you overthink, you wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect mindset. But when you're solution-focused, you move, even if the step is small, even if it's messy, even if it's uncomfortable, you move. Because you understand that clarity doesn't come before action, it comes because of action. Every move you make teaches you something. Every attempt, whether it works or fails, brings you closer to figuring it out. That's the process. That's how growth happens, but you've got to be willing to step into it. You've got to be willing to stop making excuses and start making progress. And listen, excuses will always be there. Life will always give you reasons to quit, reasons to doubt yourself, reasons to stay in your comfort zone. But champions, they don't listen to those voices. They override them with discipline. They tell themselves, I don't care how I feel, I'm going to do what needs to be done. That's the mindset you need, because at the end of the day, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to hand you the solution on a silver platter. You've got to go out there and build it yourself, brick by brick, step by step, day by day, and yeah, it's going to be hard. There will be moments when you feel like you're not making progress, when it feels like nothing is working, when the problem still looks bigger than your effort. But that's when it matters most. That's when you've got to dig deeper. That's when you've got to remind yourself why you started. Because quitting doesn't solve anything, it just locks you into the same cycle. But action breaks cycles. Action creates change, so instead of sitting there analyzing your problems from every angle, start attacking them with solutions. Write down what you can do, take one step, then take another, build momentum, because momentum is powerful. It shifts your mindset, it builds confidence, it turns doubt into belief. And once you start moving, you realize something: you're stronger than you thought, more capable than you believed, and closer to the solution than you imagined. But you'll never discover that if you stay stuck in your emotions. You've got to rise above them. You've got to operate on a different level. A level where action is your priority, discipline is your foundation, and solutions are your focus. That's how you win. You've got to lock in on this truth. Your focus is shaping your future whether you realize it or not. Every single day, your mind is collecting evidence based on what you choose to look at. If you wake up and immediately start thinking about everything that's going wrong, everything that's unfair, everything that's out of your control, your brain goes to work reinforcing that reality. It builds a world where obstacles feel bigger, where progress feels impossible, where quitting starts to make sense. But the moment you decide to focus on solutions, you flip that entire script. Now your mind starts searching for ways forward instead of reasons to stop. Now you begin to see opportunities where you once saw barriers. And understand this, it's not magic, it's conditioning. You are literally training your brain to operate at a higher level. High performers don't have fewer problems than average people. They just refuse to give those problems more attention than they deserve. They acknowledge the issue, but they don't live in it. They move quickly from awareness to action. That's the shift you need to make. Stop zooming in on the struggle and start zooming in on the strategy. Ask yourself, what can I control right now? Because that's where your power is. You might not be able to control the situation, but you can always control your response, your effort, your attitude, and your next move. And those small choices, repeated consistently, create massive change over time. But here's where it gets real. Focusing on solutions requires discipline. It's not easy to ignore the noise, the negativity, the doubt that creeps in when things aren't going your way. It's not easy to stay locked in when progress feels slow. But easy doesn't build greatness, discipline does. You've got to train yourself to redirect your focus every time it drifts back to the problem. Every time you catch yourself complaining, replace it with a plan. Every time you feel stuck, take a step, even if it's a small one, because small steps lead to big wins. And those wins, they build confidence. They reinforce the belief that you can figure things out, that you can overcome, that you can grow through whatever life throws at you. And once that belief takes hold, everything changes. You start operating differently. You stop waiting for permission, for validation, for the perfect conditions. You create your own momentum. You create your own opportunities, and it all comes back to focus. Where you place your attention determines the direction of your life. So if you want a different outcome, you've got to choose a different focus. Stop giving your problems center stage. They don't deserve it. Put your solutions in the spotlight. feed them, build them, act on them. Because at the end of the day, your future is not decided by the problems you face, it's decided by how you choose to respond to them. And if you keep choosing solutions day after day, no matter how hard it gets, success stops being a possibility and starts becoming your reality. Let me give it to you straight. Every problem you face is carrying something valuable, but you'll never see it if all you do is complain about the weight of it. Most people look at problems as roadblocks, as setbacks, as signs that they should stop. But the truth is, problems are part of the process. They are not there to destroy you. They are there to develop you. The issue is not the problem itself. It's your perspective on it. If you only see pain, you'll miss the lesson. If you only see difficulty, you'll miss the opportunity. That's why focusing on solutions is so powerful. It forces you to extract value from every situation. It forces you to ask better questions, not why is this happening to me, but what is this trying to teach me? That one shift turns struggle into strategy. It turns frustration into fuel because now instead of feeling stuck, you're growing. Now instead of being defeated, you're being prepared. See, every challenge you go through is building something inside of you. Resilience, patience, discipline, strength. But those qualities only develop if you lean into solutions. If you stay focused on the problem, all you build is stress and doubt. And let me tell you something, growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from pressure. It comes from those moments when you don't feel ready, when things don't make sense, when everything in you wants to quit, but you choose to keep going anyway. That's where transformation happens. That's where you separate yourself from the average mindset, because average people run from problems. They avoid them, they blame others, they wait for things to magically get better, but winners, they face problems head on. They break them down. They analyze them, not to complain, but to find solutions. They take responsibility, even when it's hard, even when it's unfair, because they understand that responsibility gives them control. And control gives them power. So instead of asking for an easier life, they build themselves into someone stronger. Someone who can handle more, do more, become more. And that's the mindset you need if you want to level up. You've got to stop seeing problems as enemies and start seeing them as training. Because every time you solve one, you evolve. Every time you push through one, you prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. And that confidence, that belief, it compounds, it carries into every area of your life. But it all starts with where you put your focus. If you keep staring at the problem, you'll stay stuck in it. But if you shift your attention to the solution, you'll find a way through it. Maybe not immediately, maybe not perfectly, but eventually. And eventually is all you need, because progress, no matter how slow, is still progress. So embrace the challenge, learn from it, grow through it, and most importantly, keep your eyes on the solution, because that's where your breakthrough is waiting.